In 3, 2. Hey, Michael and Cait. So talk to us about converting leads. Tell me one or a couple of tactics or strategies that will help bring in new patients and help us better utilize these paid forms of advertisement.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, anytime you're paying for advertising, the question is not just how do I get leads, but the other question we need to ask ourselves is how do we maximize the leads we get? And from, my perspective, gosh, having done this for close to 10 years now, one of the things that I see marketing agencies struggle with, that I see dentists struggle with, is that they can get a lead, but they don't always know how to convert a lead. They don't know how to follow up with a lead. And if we think about this for a minute, we think about our own behaviors. So frequently in our lives, there are things that we're interested in doing that we don't take action on the first time, right? This is a really common idea in marketing. You'll hear people say things like it's going to take, 7 to 8 touch points for someone to convert. They might hear your name, from a friend. They might see an ad. They might go to your website. They might look at your social media. There's all these touch points that help us make a decision. And so, a lot of times we think about getting in front of someone a lot. We think about the upfront part, right? It's how do we show enough ads and get in front of people so they finally call us, they finally fill out a form. What we don't think about is once they do call us, once they do fill out a form, once they do reach out, how do we continue to follow up? And unfortunately, for most dental offices, they don't have the bandwidth, the team member, or the training to say, I just had someone call, I just had someone fill out a form, and they're not ready yet, but I'm going to keep following up, because we know definitively the companies that stay in front of customers the longest, they're persistent, are the ones that close the deals, the ones that get the person to say yes. And so today what we want to do is we want to talk about funnels. And this is something I think everybody's probably seen a little bit, on Facebook groups, and, you've had a friend that has said, oh, I use funnels. So it's an idea that we know about, but what are funnels? How do they work? How can we use them in dentistry? And if you're doing Google ads, if you're advertising on social media, how do you not just get a lead, but get the most out of your leads by following up consistently? So today we've got Cait Lanning. She really heads up our funnels team at Wonderist. And so, I thought what better person to talk about this than Cait. And so, yeah, I think Cait, why don't you just start out by saying, what is a funnel?
So I think to start out with that, the best way to explain this is to kind of compare it. So when we look at that, we really want to kind of expand, know that they're interested, because not everybody's going to be ready to schedule that appointment or ready to make that phone call. And sometimes it might be 2 months before that person's actually ready to move forward and move forward with that dental service or find that new dentist. So when we talk about a funnel, let me just give you kind of a peek at a landing page. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Awesome. So for the ones listening on the podcast, if you guys want, just scroll in the show notes below and you can see the video and see what Cait and Michael and I are looking at.
Awesome. So we're looking at a landing page here. The offer is see if you qualify for a free cleaning exam and x-rays. So we have a button up here to call. They can schedule an appointment. They can make that phone call. Another option we have here is a chat widget. Lowers that barrier of entry again, like I said, but the focus of this page is different from a website. We're not just informing them of what the practice is and who they are. We're asking them to take an action. So we want them to get this offer. We want them to see if you qualify for a free exam, cleaning, or x-rays. So a funnel is really based on kind of an offer or an incentive to collect that person's information. But then once you have that person's information, it goes beyond just, we talked to them once and they're not interested. They gave us a call and they're not interested. You need to be following up with and kind of housing all of those leads in one place, which I think is foreign to a lot of people. And that's a very important part of anyone's marketing.
So the key thought here is you need a lead list, right? So you think about it, you might have a couple leads that you get from Facebook. You might have some people that call you and they're in some call tracking portal. You might have a website and it has a list of people that have reached out to you. They're all in different places. And so I think what's really critical is that you get one list, one place where all of your leads go. I'm not talking about patients here. I'm talking about pre-patient. These are people that have said, I'm interested, but I'm not ready. And then once you get that list, you can take action on that list. You can email everybody. You can text everybody. You can email one person. You can call one person. And it gives you really clear next steps when you're saying, hey, this month's a little slow. I'd like to get some more of those people in. You didn't waste those marketing dollars on that person who called and said, I'm not ready. They're still there waiting for you to follow up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways that we can go about this. So The kind of easiest, or not necessarily the easiest, the most basic form of this that anyone can start doing today is keeping an Excel sheet. So somebody calls the practice, they're asking about a specific service, they're asking questions, but they're not ready to schedule. Put them in an Excel sheet, put them, somewhere where you have all of them in a list and you can go back and follow up with them in a month or however long. The next step of that is kind of a DIY. You can get ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is a great avenue for you to build out a landing page, collect people's information, and set up some follow-up on top of that. The third option is we actually do all of this for our clients. So it's kind of done for you. We set up the landing pages, we build a campaign, and we set up all of that automated follow-up. So I can actually give you a peek into that for those that are watching us here. This is a client's lead list. So we have people in here who all they did was call the practice. We have people in here who submitted a form for a new patient special. They submitted an insurance check. All of those people live here in one place. And most of our clients have access to this or will have access to this. And they can actually select any of these contacts and they can send them a message themselves. You can send them an email. But what we are talking about when we say funnel is from start to finish, that person showed their interest by entering the system somehow. They submitted a form that went to you guys. They called the office, something, and then we actually drop them into a workflow. So this is kind of a basic workflow that we have set up for Invisalign. We have some automation here in the beginning that will just kind of do some things on the back end, add tags so we know they came from Invisalign, things like that. And then here is where the magic is. And your team can do this manually, or they can get a software like ClickFunnels to set this up, or work with an agency who's able to do this for you. But this is the bread and butter, because when somebody isn't ready to schedule and they submit that form, they might not convert at this email, they might not convert at this text, but they might convert months down the line at one of the last emails that you send. And that is still money that would not have come into your pocket if you weren't following up with those leads.
And we see that every day. And so, Cait, if you scroll down, you could actually see there was a person in this funnel here, which I love. Yeah. So this is active. You can see there's a person waiting 5 days. They're going to get a text message, and you'll see it. Sometimes it takes weeks for someone to finally say, yes, I'm ready. And that's what really helps you get more out of those marketing dollars. The last thing that I love is that we've been able to integrate with Open Dental, Dentrix, and EagleSoft, so that as we nurture leads along, we can see when they come into the practice. And most importantly, we can see when we get production from those leads, and we can tell our clients, hey, this is how much we generated. So there's complete accountability. It's not just, hey, we used to say we can bring the horse to water, we can't make them drink. Well, now we can see when they drink, and we can show you how much they drank. And that's really been a transformational thing.
I like that. So in the messages, I guess, has there ever been a part where they go through this? What is the max here? Like, where would you guys say, like, okay, now we're just kind of doing too much following up. It's been 2 years from now, or no, there's no such thing as that.
So we actually, for each campaign, we have somebody in a sequence of about 3 months. And then from there, if they age out of that 3-month sequence and they haven't moved forward with treatment, responded, kind of made any move, yes or no, then we have a long-term nurture sequence that we drop them in that's much less frequent. It's about once a month, they'll receive an email and a text for like the next year. And then from there, they'd be marked as unresponsive. So we know that, it's been a while, but at any point our clients could go back in and want to try again and reach out to those people again, because they live in the CRM. They still have that contact information, which is really the biggest key here.
Yeah. To get a bunch of leads. I love you're right. The homepage, I guess, is that a lead page or like a landing page, or is that like the actual homepage of the?
Yeah, so this would just be a landing page. So we'd be directing some of our ad traffic specifically to this page. Landing pages are a little bit better for conversion sometimes, just because we're able to focus on one action that we want that lead to take. Where they visit a website, they are receiving a ton of information, which is great. You want patients to be, or leads to be, informed about your practice. But this landing page is specific to show people, this is the offer that you can have. We want you to claim this offer. We want you to let us know that you're interested.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, Wonderist has kind of like studied the process of how a lead works, right? Because I feel like you could have easily just made this and said like, okay, it should convert. And then after that, it doesn't. I don't know why, but you followed them throughout I guess for months, right?
Yeah, Michael could probably speak to this a little bit better, but our team's very big on testing and kind of always improving, and always kind of analyzing and doing different studies of the information that we have, especially now with that integration with some of our clients' practice management softwares. We're able to really dive into like a larger study of dental specific, how many people are converting, how many of those leads become patients, things like that. So we are always studying and always trying to stay up with marketing here at Wonderist.
I think the key thing is you've got to have something that captures data so you can say, is this working or not? And over years, there's things that we found that work, and then there's things that don't. It can also be specific to practices and markets, right? So I think at the end of the day, you'll hear people talk about A/B testing and all this scientific stuff. And the reality is there's so many variables, right? In each campaign, the brand colors, the photo, how the dentist looks, the offer itself, the offers other people have. And so I think for the types of budgets that most dentists have, to really say, oh gosh, we've A/B tested everything in each market, and this is like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's BS. Dentists don't have big enough budgets, and there's too many variables. But what you can do is find macro trends over time, and you can say, listen, we know that, for example, this is one we talk about all the time, authentic content outperforms stock content. That's something I think most people can intuitively guess, but there's data that we've recorded that supports that. You can look at offers. One of the common things people do is they'll say, what's my new patient special offer? They'll look down the street. I'll say, well, what's my buddy doing? And they'll have the exact same offer. Have you noticed how most new patient special offers are exactly the same?
Yeah.
That's not going to perform as well. You need something that's a little different. It could be higher, it could be lower, but if it's the same as everybody else's, it's not going to perform as well. Those are things that we can intuitively guess, and then we can study and we can collect data on and say, when we make this change, we get more submissions, we get more phone calls. And so over time, that's what we've done on a macro level at the agency.
Gotcha. What procedures have you seen that takes more time for someone to convert compared to someone who's like, oh, it's a free exam, let's just get in there really quick?
Yeah, it's exactly what you're going to think. It's the higher production, higher collection procedures. So, all on 4, it's going to be something that's going to be a bigger decision. Invisalign, it's elective. It's something that, it's not going to be an emergency. Whereas, I think interestingly, implants oftentimes are going to be a little bit more of an immediate decision for people because there's an immediate problem, right? Oftentimes, and this is what people forget. I think a lot of us think people are walking around with a missing tooth thinking to themselves, maybe I should get implants. And most of the time what happens is someone has an acute emergency and they say, oh my gosh, my tooth got extracted. Doctor, I don't want to go back to, I don't want to go back home in front of my kids. I don't want to go back to work and miss a tooth. What can we do about it? And so you think about it from that standpoint. I think a lot of dental implant marketing starts with emergency. And it's not people walking around in the world missing a tooth for 4 years that say, gosh, maybe I'll fix it today. That's, there are some people doing that, but most people, it's an acute problem that they're like, I'm ready to go now. Let's fix it.
Gotcha. Quick question about like this, what we saw right now. If someone's like, okay, my website's not with Wonderist, I've never even talked to Wonderist, I'm already up and running. Could they still get something like this done for them?
Absolutely. And so one of the best things about funnels, and Cait did a great job talking about this, is all we're really doing is we're hooking on access points to whatever you have. It could be, an existing website, it could be your social media. But I think the key point is you have to ask, how can I get people to subscribe to my list? And, if you think about what Cait shared, you could have something that says, hey, chat with us. You could have a form that says, see if you qualify. You could have a phone number that collects the call tracking information and puts a phone number on the list, and the list goes on. And so you want to make sure that you activate all of those access points so that you're building a list. And that's completely independent of a website. We can go work with an existing website and plug all those things in. We can also, as Cait showed, build a landing page that's completely independent of any website and say, listen, this website is specifically built as a landing page to get leads from paid traffic or from other marketing campaigns.
Awesome. Okay. All righty. Michael and Cait, I appreciate your time. And if anyone has further questions, you can definitely find them on the Dental Marketer Society Facebook group, or where can they reach out to you directly?
Yeah, so you can reach out to us on our website. So that's wonderistagency.com. You can follow us on Instagram and get a little behind the scenes for what life is like at Wonderist. And that's going to be at Wonderist Agency. And you can always schedule time with our team. Again, on our website, on the homepage, there's a link to our calendar and you can talk with our team there.
Awesome. All righty, Michael and Cait, thank you for being with me on this Monday morning marketing episode.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.